Hi, everyone. I'm Sara from Blessed Homeschool, and today I wanted to chat with you about something I get questions about a lot: tracking your homeschool state requirements. I'm going to share with you a program that I use and love that has made this process so much easier for me and a little bit more fun. So, like I said, I get asked about this a lot. New homeschoolers want to know what kinds of things they need to keep track of while homeschooling, what kind of records they need to keep. And even those of us who have been doing this for a while want to know the best and least stressful ways to keep homeschool records. Well, I'll start by saying that this is largely going to vary by state, and some of it might even vary by how you want to measure and keep track of what your kids are learning. But the part you need to know for sure is what's required of you by your state, and you need to make sure you are keeping appropriate records. If you aren't sure of what your state requirements are already, a great resource is HSLDA. You can visit their website to view a list of all homeschooling requirements by state, and I'll drop a link in the notes for you to check out. You can also visit my blog, as I have a great series on homeschooling in all 50 states. It was a collaboration project with lots of other homeschool bloggers. So there's a post for each state that shares not only the homeschooling requirements, but tips and advice from other moms who happen to live in that particular state. So my family lives in Missouri, and we specifically have to keep track of the number of hours we homeschool and whether those hours are in our core subjects like math, language arts, science, or social studies, or non-core subjects like art or PE. We also have to keep a log of what we're studying and assessments, which could be a number of things. So for us, it's as simple as me creating a report card at the end of the year or maintaining a portfolio for my kids, showing work, samples, and progress they've made. Now, tallying up all the hours we have to track is what seems to stress people out around here the most. It sounds really intimidating when you're first beginning to homeschool to think about getting in 1,000 hours of instruction. But it's actually not that bad, believe it or not. And like I mentioned earlier, I have a great tool that I think anyone should be using who has to track their state homeschool requirements. It's made the process so much simpler and stress-free for me, but it took me a little while to find something like this. Um, since we don't actually have to begin tracking hours until our kids are 7, I had about a 2-year gap where I was only keeping track of hours for one child. So I created a printable homeschool tracker that I used, and it worked really well. While it was a little tedious to add all my hours up every week, it really wasn't so bad to track them and write down our work at the end of each day. So fast forward to now having 3 kids that I have to track hours for, plus one more coming up in a few years. Doing everything by hand was starting to get a lot more tedious. So I created an Excel spreadsheet. And while that worked, it was still a lot to tally up every day. Then I came across a company called Homeschool Hall on Facebook, which is a program designed specifically to address the needs of homeschoolers that are tracking their state requirements. But it actually turned into so much more. The founder is a homeschooling dad who saw his wife struggling with many of the same things that I did in regards to keeping homeschool records, and really saw the need for a practical, easy to use program where we can keep track of our homeschools all in one place. So I immediately reached out to them for information, and once I got started, I was hooked. I've been using it all year. So I'm going to take you on a walkthrough of Homeschool Hall in just a second, but you should know that it makes keeping track of your homeschool hours and activities for multiple kids really easy. So that's mainly what I use it for, but there are also some other great features that might be useful to you. So for example, you can record grades, create recurring activities, and even generate transcripts and report cards for your kids. You can even create logins for your kids so they can log in and use Homeschool Hall to track hours, or you can use it as a planner of sorts. Lots of great features you'll see. So let's take a quick look behind the scenes, and I will show you what Homeschool Hall looks like, what you can do with it, and just give you an example of how I have my activity journal set up. All right, so I'm going to give you a quick tour of the Homeschool Hall activity journal. There's really 2 components to Homeschool Hall, you've got the activity journal, and you also have a free homeschool directory, which I'll talk about in just a minute. So this is my activity journal when I log in, and this is really going to be your spot to track all of your homeschool hours and activities, record grades, record attendance, and monitor your state homeschool requirements in general. So right here on this screen, there's a couple different views I'm going to show you. This is just the main calendar view. I have 3 of my kids added to my activity journal, and you can see this is just the calendar view. So when I go here, it just gives me a glance at the different activities that I've recorded. So you can see they're color coded, which I set up in my settings. And then your data is stored, for forever, really. They don't delete any of your data. So if you need to print off reports or look back at something from the past, it's all there. So that's just going back a couple of months. You can see all the different activities we've recorded. So, and I can easily switch between students if I wanted to go to Carly's journal and so on. Okay. So there's the calendar view. I could also switch to a list view if I wanted to see every date listed out. So for Thursday, right away, you can have a quick view of how many hours you've completed. And then you've got your hours here on the left, whatever subject I selected, and then if there was a description that I added. So you have the ability to add in what you've actually completed that day. So, and you can load more and show it all there. So you've got the calendar view, the graph view, the list view, and then you have the graph view, which I love because it gives you a really easy view of where we're at for all of our hours. So like I mentioned before, in Missouri, we have to track our core hours, and we have to have a total of 1,000 hours of instruction. So it gives me that data right here. I can see how close we are to reaching that. I don't have to add anything on my own. It automatically calculates whenever I add everything in. Those are the main stats that I look at, but some other ones that you may be interested, depending on what requirements you're tracking. It'll show you the average time of day or average amount of time per day. The attendance days. So if you have a set number of attendance days that you have to track, you can set that up when you're creating your account. Home versus away activities. And then these are just stats on how much time is spent broken down into each subject. So if you're curious about how much time is being spent and where, all of those stats are there for you. Okay, so if I was going to create a new entry for Luke, I would just hit right here, and everything is really straightforward and simple. So this pops up, and right away I can select one of the subjects. Now these are ones that I created when we were first setting up our account, or if I wanted to create a new subject, I could do that from right here. You can change the date if you need to. Typically I enter everything on the date that it happens, but you can easily change the date, the duration, how long it took you in minutes. You can put your description in here. I know for a lot of states, you have to kind of record what it was that you did. So if that's important, you have a spot for that. You could add any kind of links that you need to for your assignments, anything that would be helpful to keep a record of. And then I love this because if I have more than one kid that's doing the same thing, I don't have to add a different entry for each one. I could select multiple kids here that are participating in, if we did like a read aloud or something and everyone participated, I could log them all at once. I can mark if it's graded or not. At the moment, I don't use this as a grade book. I may in the future, so you won't see any grades in here for me, but if you hit yes, it will allow you to enter grades, and they do have really great reporting features for that. And then this was important for our state. We have to record whether it's a home activity or an away activity. So something that does not occur at a regular homeschool location. So I can select whether it's one of those activities. Then I can either save and close this window or save and add new. Will keep me right on the screen, and I can keep adding those activities that I need to. Another great feature I love is this quick add right here. So if there are activities that your family does quite often, instead of having to go through and create a new entry for each one, I set them up as quick entries. And so when I click on that button, you'll see these are some things that happen weekly for us, like our music lessons or Awana, or if we're watching World Watch News, things like that. So if I pull this up, I can just go in and really quickly enter the time frame, and I can save that. And I have each of these set up, per kid. So who should the cello lesson be assigned to? Is it home or away? That's all set up on the back end. So right here, I know all of those data points are going to stay the same. Here, I'm just going to record minutes. So it's really fast and easy to do that. All right, let me show you around the settings just a little bit so you can see the back end here. When I first set up our account, this is where you can add all your kids. So we've got the toggle here. I've got Luke's setting. You can enter their birthdays, grade level. Here's where you can give your students an account and a login. So there's information on that. We don't have that set up just yet, but it is an option. So you can add as many children as you want to, and it doesn't cost extra. It's all included in the plan. For my reports, you can create on-demand reports for your kids. So if you have to do, if you're creating grades or you just want a record of hours, here's where you can create those reports. My subjects, this is where you'll create all of your subjects. So these were all the ones that you saw when I was going to add those hours. And let's just say if I go into language arts, here's where you can select the subject's color and whether it's a state required subject or not. So it makes that really easy to do. Quick entries, here's where you set those up. So all of those ones that I wanted to just be able to enter really quickly, I could do that. So you'll see you can name it, you can denote a subject, which children should be assigned to it. So if I go in and I add 30 minutes to the violin lesson, it's only going to assign it to Emma. And it's also going to denote that it is an away activity. And then my description will just match with every quick entry that I add. So I don't have to type all this in every single time. I just go in, I enter the minutes, and it's just a very efficient way to keep my data. Recurring activities, this I don't use right now, but I'll show it to you. If you have something that happens every single week and it's exactly the same, so I probably could do this for our lessons. I just like to have the control and enter it myself. But, you can set it up to happen every week and it'll show up on your calendar. So tennis on Thursdays, what subject would that be? What child? Home or away? Start and end date, and what days of the week it happens. So a great feature if that's something that would be interesting to you. And you can see that it's beta version. They're constantly adding and updating new features as they hear from people because, again, it's a homeschooling family that's working on this and they know what we need and they listen to what we need. The journal settings. So this is where you can set all of your things that you really want to track. So for me, in Missouri, this is where I can list out my hours that I need to hit. So total hours is 1,000. We need 600 core hours and then 400 non-core. And then we need 400 hours at home. Attendance days are not required, but I just left those in there. And so all that's in here. You can select which of the widgets you want to show in your journal. And you also can select when your school year starts. So our school year runs July 1st through the end of June. So we set that up right here from when that school year starts, when you're starting to track those hours. Okay, so that's in your journal settings. Reminders and notices. So this I really love as well because I get a text message every day that will remind me to fill out my journal because some days I might forget. So you can select which days of the week you want it to send you a reminder, and they will text you at whatever time you specify, reminding you to fill out your activities for the day. So you don't forget a day and have to play catch up at the end of the week. You can get that by text or by email. So many great features that are back here in the settings. Okay, let's take a look at transcripts really quick. So again, I haven't used this for grades just yet, but I did want to show you this because if you have a high schooler or you're needing to build a professional transcript, this is a great feature. It's really easy to use. They've got an automatic GPA calculation and support for AP classes, dual enrollment, pretty much everything you would need to create a transcript. So you can go here and let's see if it'll let me show you a sample transcript. Okay, so I've got this pulled up, and this is what a sample transcript would look like. You've got school information. Looks very professional and clean. You have all the credit hours, all of the grades, your grading scale, a place for a signature, date, some different notes. So just a great way to generate a transcript if you need it. Now, this feature is included if you are a subscriber to the Homeschool Hall program. It's included, but even if you don't use Homeschool Hall, you could still actually use our transcript builder and you can purchase a transcript on your own. You have unlimited PDF downloads. You can edit and print your transcript at any time. So just another great option if you're in need of something like this. And it just goes to show that they are really trying to cater to the homeschool community. So finally, the last thing I wanted to show you was the other component of Homeschool Hall, which is their directory. The directory is a free online tool that will help you easily find local social opportunities for your kids and for you. So you can come here to search for co-ops, sports teams, clubs, music programs, curriculum shops, and more by using the directory. So as of now, they've got over 4,000 listings and they're growing. It's free to view. And if you have something that you want to list, like your co-op or something homeschool related that's you want to get on the map and make everyone local to you aware of it, you can actually add your first listing for free. So you'll see this is at the top in the menu, the directory right here. They've also got in the works co-op and group management. So if that's something that you're in need of, I know the founders, that's something that they saw a need for. So they're working really hard to put that into place. But you can search lots of different places by zip code. They've got co-ops and classes, state and regional resources, sports, music clubs, everything. So these are just some different things in our area, but lots of great things. If you're searching for something local, come check out their directory and see what you can find and think about adding a listing yourself. So there you have it. I hope this gives you a good idea of all that Homeschool Hall can do and how it can help you keep track of the important requirements that you have in your homeschool. Not only that, but the additional features like the reporting, the upcoming portfolio and planning options, and more make it a great tool to have with you on your homeschooling journey. I know that tracking your homeschool can feel burdensome on top of everything else that's on your plate. And if you're anything like me, you want a system that's easy, customized, and organized. So if this is something that's weighing on you and making it harder for you during your homeschool day, definitely check out Homeschool Hall. The pricing is $7.99 a month, and they also have yearly and lifetime plans available. Now, that price includes all of the features that they currently have and any upcoming features that they add in the future. It's all included. And you can also add as many kids as you need to your family account. So it makes it great for larger families or if you have multiple kids that you're needing to keep track of. So head over to Homeschool Hall right now. I'm going to include a link in the notes below. And if you do decide to give them a try, go through the link and then make sure you use the coupon code Blessed Homeschool to take 20% off your entire first year. Or 20% off your one-time lifetime payment if you would choose that option. So again, the coupon code Blessed Homeschool for 20% off at Homeschool Hall. Find the link below. All right, so thanks for watching, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe for more homeschool tips and reviews.